This presentation will cover the ins and outs of the development of a new diagnostic test for a new infectious disease that was recently discovered. Now, I know you all probably know what screening and diagnostic tests are, but first we will review the difference between the two just to eliminate any confusion and really hone into what this diagnostic test does. Screening tests are used to examine asymptomatic but at-risk individuals in order to classify them as likely or unlikely to have a certain disease. The intention is to identify these individuals before the onset of the symptoms. Diagnostic tests are used to confirm whether the individual is free from the disease or has the disease. These medical tests are given to the individuals who show symptoms or have tested positive in the screening test. The specific diagnostic test being used for the new infectious disease that we're talking about today is painless and inexpensive compared to the only other known diagnostic test for the disease, which contains intravenous dye. Now we're going to talk about sensitivity, specificity, positive predictive values, and negative predictive values. This data in the chart that I'm about to discuss is from my latest study and is based off of a population-based sample of 100,000 people. There are 1,400 confirmed cases of the disease and 8,600 non-cases of the disease. We can also see that there are 8,517 cases were screened as positive and 1,483 cases were screened negative out of the 10,000 total individuals. These calculations were made based on the numbers presented in this chart. Let's quickly review what each of these terms represent. Sensitivity, or true positive, is the probability of getting a positive test given the individual has the disease. Specificity, or true negative, is the probability of a negative test given the individual does not have the disease. Positive predictive value is the probability of a person who tests positive and has the disease. And negative predictive value is the probability of a person who tests negative does not have the disease. Now to interpret what these numbers mean to your patients. Sensitivity. This disease individual is 91% likely to get a positive test result. Specificity. The non-diseased individual is 15.8% likely to get a negative test result. The positive predictive value, we can see that 8,517 people tested positive for the disease, and out of those people, 1,274 people actually developed the disease. The PPV is 15%. In other words, it's 15% likely that the patient has the disease given that the test result is positive. NPV, likewise, for the negative predictive value, we can see that 1,483 people tested negative for the disease, and out of those people, 1,357 people did not have the disease. The NPV is 91.5%, or it's 91.5% likely that the patient does not have the disease given that the result is negative. That's the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for your time.